Breaking news. As Putin's grip on power threatened, Wagner rebellion eyes Moscow. Convoys belonging to the Wagner Group have made their way into a region to the south of the Russian capital. This comes just a few hours after the leader of the mercenaries, Yevgeny Prigozhin, declared that his forces had taken control of military installations in the Rostov-on-Don region and would now march on Moscow. According to the governor of Lipetsk, the group has arrived in the region, which is only 400 kilometers, 250 miles, south of the capital of Russia. The news comes after reports that Wagner forces were present in Voronezh, which is a city located approximately halfway between Rostov and Moscow. As the Wagner rebels advance toward Moscow, the BBC News has reported that public buildings across the city are being evacuated. Additionally, according to the newspaper Vedomosti, Russian soldiers are reportedly setting up machine gun positions on the edge of the city. In an earlier statement, Russian President Vladimir Putin referred to the uprising by the mercenaries as a stab in the back and promised that decisive action would be taken during a televised address that was given on Saturday. It comes a day after Prigozhin declared war on the Russian Ministry of Defense, accusing the Russian military of attacking Wagner positions in Ukraine. This news comes a day after Prigozhin's declaration. Wagner Group forces had crossed from occupied Ukraine into Russian territory in at least 2 different locations, an operation that Prigozhin described as a march for freedom. According to officials from the British Ministry of Defense, Wagner controls key security sites, including the headquarters from which Russia commands its military operations in Ukraine. Putin said, without mentioning Wagner or Prigozhin by name, those who have organized an armed rebellion will be held accountable, adding, "Those who have been drawn into this, I call on you to stop your criminal actions." Putin stated that those service members who went on the path of treason will be punished and will be held accountable, and he also stated that the armed forces have been given the necessary orders. Personal interests have led to the betrayal of our country and the cause that our armed forces are fighting for, added Putin. This has led to the betrayal that we are witnessing right now. Putin made reference to the year of the Russian Revolution when he was speaking about the uprising. According to what he had to say, it was such a blow that was dealt to Russia in 1917, when the country was fighting in World War I. After the revolution, there was a tragic civil war, according to what he said, during which Russians killed Russians and political opportunists and foreign forces divided the country. Putin stated that those responsible for organizing and preparing the military rebellion, as well as those who raised arms against their fellow service members, had betrayed Russia and would be held accountable for their actions. Following Putin's speech, the Wagner Telegram channel broadcast the following message: Putin made the wrong choice. It just keeps getting worse for him. In a short amount of time, we will have a new president. On Saturday, the United Kingdom's Ministry of Defense, MOD, stated that the reliability of Russia's security forces, and in particular the Russian National Guard, will be essential to determining how the crisis develops. The Ministry of Defense stated in its most recent update that this represents the most significant challenge to the Russian state in recent times. Political economist Konstantin Sonin, who was born in Russia but now works at the University of Chicago, tweeted that, "One thing to watch what other Russian politicians say," after noting that 10 hours into the uprising, the total disappearance of Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin, Moscow's mayor Sergei Sobyanin, and other Putin's underlings is a bad sign for Putin. Sonin is of Russian descent. A video shows Wagner's boss seizing the military headquarters of Rostov and rebuking the commander. As dramatic footage shows armed men and armored vehicles reportedly surrounding the headquarters of the Southern Military District in the city of Rostov-on-Don, the leader of Wagner Group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, has stated that his troops have taken military sites in the city of Rostov-on-Don. Additionally, he directs his criticism toward Russia's Deputy Defense Minister, Colonel General Yunusbek Yevkarov. A day after announcing that he was declaring war on the Russian Ministry of Defense, he said in a video message on Saturday that military sites in the city of Rostov were under his control. He claimed to be coming from Rostov. Prigozhin has been very critical of Russia's military establishment and its behavior during the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. He has accused Russia of failing to provide his mercenaries with sufficient supplies, which is one of the reasons for his criticism. Another video shows Prigozhin criticizing Yevgorov and referring to the leaders of Moscow's military as senile clowns. Prigozhin can be seen in the video berating Yevgorov. The video was reportedly taken at the Rostov HQ, which is essential to the Russian military's war efforts. Prigozhin told the minister that Russian military aircraft were actively engaging Wagner forces and that, "They shoot at us, and we shoot them down. We will continue bringing them down if you continue sending them, because you are hitting innocent civilians," he added. "We will not tolerate this." Yevgorov stated that, "This is the very first time I've heard of it." Wagner's chief demanded a meeting with Valery Gerasimov, head of Russia's General Staff of the Armed Forces, as well as Sergei Shoigu, Minister of Defense, both of whom he has repeatedly criticized throughout the war for their behavior. "As long as they are not here, we will remain here, block the city of Rostov, and head for Moscow," he said. "We have no intention of leaving." Following this, Prigozhin refused to release the regular Russian soldiers who were rumored to be held in the HQ and insisted that his group was not interfering with the command of troops during the conflict. Prigozhin responded to the assertion that his decision would result in the loss of the lives of Russian soldiers by stating, "Guys are dying because you are throwing them into the meat grinder, without ammunition, without thought." It comes as BBC News reported that Wagner fighters had taken control of all military facilities in the city of Voronezh, which is approximately 550 kilometers south of Moscow and is halfway between the capital and Rostov, although local officials have not commented on the claim. Voronezh is located approximately halfway between Moscow and Rostov. On Saturday, Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, made the accusation of treason against Wagner, saying that personal interests have led to the betrayal of our country and the cause that our armed forces are fighting for. Prigozhin, on the other hand, has responded in a defiant manner by releasing a video message in which he directly criticizes the Russian president and claims that the latter is deeply mistaken. Prigozhin asserted, "We are patriotic citizens of our homeland.